Hello students, today I start with the chapter Fire Insurance Claim. A very interesting and a very simple chapter. Those students who don't like journal entries, this is the chapter where there are no journal entries. Simple calculations to be made. You have to prepare trading account in different ways. How? That I'll show in some time. But no journal entries. To be honest, less of accounting and a little bit more calculation. Calculation matlab don't worry, कुछ high level maths नहीं है. Less of accounts and more of calculation. Now, before I start, this chapter till now was in FYBAF as well as FYBCom. Now, today when I am recording this lecture, new education policy has been implemented and FYBAF students, you all have this in semester 2. BCom students, till last year it was in F5, but from the current year after implementation of new education policy, it is not in F5. But I don't know because next year SY का syllabus नहीं आया, so they might put it in SY. So at this stage I can say it is a common chapter for FYBAF as well as BCom, but BCom F5 में तो नहीं है as per the new education policy. I don't know whether it will be there in SY or no. This statement I am making as of today, that is the day on which I am recording. Okay, so now fire insurance claim. FYJC, SYJC, especially SYJC. Final accounts में sums किया adjustments. Goods destroyed by fire 10,000. Insurance claim admitted 6,000. Goods destroyed by fire 25,000. Insurance claim admitted 15,000. Insurance claim का amount directly दिया हुआ था. Insurance claim का amount directly दिया हुआ था. Now in this chapter, what we are going to study is how to calculate that amount of insurance claim. In this chapter, what we are going to study is how to calculate the amount of insurance claim, and the name of the chapter, fire insurance claim. Got it? Now see guys, every business has a risk. Business chala, nahi chala. Businessmen, those who are into trading and manufacturing, they stock goods. Life is very uncertain. कभी आग लग गया, fire takes place and you lose part or a major part of your stock of goods, तुम्हारा loss होता है. To reduce that loss, to indemnify that loss, businessmen, companies, organizations take out insurance policy. You all know the concept of insurance policy. Policy निकाला, every year premium pay करना पड़ता है, so that in case a fire takes place in future, you can safeguard and either reduce the loss or पूरा का पूरा loss बचा सकते हो. But for that there has to be an insurance policy. So people take out insurance policy to safeguard their losses in business. और ये जो chapter में करना है, that is only fire insurance policy taken out or claims to be made for loss of goods. There are other things also, but that is not in your syllabus. So यहाँ पे जो हम लोग पढ़ेंगे fire insurance claim में, how to find out the amount of claim when your goods are destroyed by fire. Okay, that is the main concept of this chapter. Now, कैसे calculate करें? See, nowadays तो सब computerized होता है, but तुम्हारे गोडाउन में या फैक्ट्री में आग लग गया, गुड्स तो डिस्ट्रॉय हुआ, उसके साथ तुम्हारे बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट भी डिस्ट्रॉय हो जाएंगे, शायद कंप्यूटर पे भी इफेक्ट आएगा, you may lose all your data. But then either with your CAs or with your professionals, there might be some data, और पूरी फैक्ट्री में आग नहीं लगी, कुछ जगह पे आग नहीं लगी, वहां पे तुम्हारा डेटा सेव है. So you get information of your accounts. जितना information तुम्हारे पास होता है उसके basis पे you will calculate the amount of claim. So how to do that? That we are going to study. In this session, I've started with the base. थोड़ा बहुत और concept पे जाऊंगा, and then there'll be two sums which I'll be covering in this session, which will give you a good hang of the basic concept of this chapter. Got it? Now listen. You all have done in SYJC also. Analysis of financial statement में gross profit ratio. यहाँ पे हर एक sum में gross profit ratio will come into picture. Sometimes it will be given in the question. Sometimes you may have to calculate. Okay. Now see क्या होता है. Goods destroy हो गया. The day when the fire takes place, goods are destroyed. So you don't know the value of stock. You don't know the value of stock. So सबसे पहले तो हमें value of stock निकालना है. वो कैसे निकालोगे? Your syllabus is restricted to a certain extent. They will give you opening stock, they will give you purchases, they will give you sales. Closing stock will not be given. They might give you past years का closing stock and पूरा data, but current year, the year in which fire takes place, उसका closing stock का figure दिया ही नहीं रहेगा because goods destroy हो गया. So the first step is you will have to find out that. Now वो find out कैसे करें? अगर तुम्हारे पास past year का data है, they will give you gross profit ratio of the past year. If not, you'll have to calculate. कैसे करना है? वो slowly हम लोग करेंगे. Now, first I'm starting with the basic. I'm showing you in the first sum what I'm going to do. I can explain you everything, but अगर मैं पूरा डिटेल में explain करूंगा, अभी तुम लोग को समझ में नहीं आएगा. So let's start with the first sum. Now see, in each and every sum, you have to prepare memorandum trading account. In each and every sum, you have to prepare memorandum trading account. The word memorandum is used to find out missing figure. And in this chapter, memorandum trading account is prepared to find out the missing figure of closing stock. In this chapter, memorandum trading account is prepared to find out the missing figure of closing stock. Memorandum trading account हर एक sum में बनाना ही बनाना है. Now, if the question doesn't give you GP ratio, then you may have to prepare trading account, get the gross profit of the past year, and then prepare memorandum. And if the gross profit ratio is directly given to you in the question, gross profit ratio is directly given to you in the question, then there is no need to prepare the trading account. Straight away you will prepare memorandum trading account. That is what I am going to do in the first sum, and after that in the second sum we will make trading account as well as memorandum trading account. We have to get the missing figure of closing stock, and after that, before we find out the amount of claim, there is something called as policy amount. There is something called as actual loss, which is very important, which अभी मैं नहीं बता रहा हूं. Let me start with the sum. That time I'll show you. Okay? I'll go very slow. जैसे मैंने बोला बहुत कुछ explain कर सकता हूं, but when it goes with the flow of the sum, that time it will be much better. Okay, chalo. Now this is an open video on YouTube. I have made two questions. Both the questions are there in the description box. Okay, let's see. Question number 1. From the following information given by Mr. Aakash, compute the amount of fire insurance claim. Opening stock दिया है 10,000, sales 5 lakh, salvage 5,000, purchases 4 lakh, policy amount 40,000. Now see, gross profit दिया है 30%. Gross profit is given 30%. Now because the gross profit ratio is given, यहाँ पे trading account बनाने की जरूरत नहीं है. If the gross profit ratio was not given, then you have to prepare the trading account, which we will see in the next sum of this session only. So हमें बनाना है memorandum trading account. Okay, अभी देखो आगे क्या बोला है. The godown of Aakash was destroyed by fire on 31st December 24. which is the last day of the year. So 31st December 24 को आग लगी. So memorandum trading account is prepared with an object to find out the missing figure of closing stock. Okay, it is prepared to find out the missing figure of closing stock, and the period will be the first day of the current year till the date of fire. The period of memorandum trading account will be from the first day of the year till the date of fire. And यहाँ पे they have mentioned fire takes place on 31st December 24. Okay, so chalo, let's start. In the books of Mr. Aakash, this is my extra question 1. In the books of Mr. Aakash, memorandum trading account for the period, as I told you, first day of the year. They have mentioned the fire took place on the last day of the year. So my first day is 1st January 2024 to 31st December 24. 1st Jan 24 to 31st December 24. Trading account ka length for this particular sum around 7 to 8 lines. Okay, 7 to 8 lines ka trading account. Now listen guys, जिधर भी adjustments होगा, you will be needing the inner column जो आज के sums में नहीं है. आगे जाके there will be adjustment of purchase return, sale return, then there are other points of abnormal loss valuation that will come at a later stage. So right now you just need single column. Okay, so I'll just make single column ka memorandum trading account on both the sides. Double column where there are adjustments you make, or even if you don't make adjustments को inner column में किया तो भी चलेगा. As I told you, length you can make it of 7-8 lines. Let me check पूरा view बराबर आ रहा है. Yeah, I hope this is fine. Yo. Okay, now listen. Again, I am repeating. We are straight away starting with memorandum trading account because question में gross profit ratio दिया हुआ है. अगर gross profit ratio नहीं दिया होता, we would have prepared trading account जो हम लोग next sum में देखेंगे. Okay, now see, you all are doing trading account, FYJC, SYJC. Even in the previous semester, you all have done final accounts of manufacturing concern, sole trader. So you all know. So let's fill up the data which is connected with trading account. Memorandum trading item same ही जाता है, but as I told you, the word memorandum is used to find out the missing figure. चलो, let's start. Opening stock दिया है 10,000. We know very well. So to opening stock account that is 10,000. Purchases 4 lakh. If you want to leave a line, leave, otherwise जरूरत नहीं है, कोई जरूरत नहीं है. To purchases account that is 4 lakh. Sales 5 lakhs. So buy sales account that is 5 lakhs. Policy amount हमें लगेगा, but after getting the closing stock, right now नहीं. Keep it pending. I'll make it very simple for you. Salvage क्या होता है? आग लग गया, आग लगने के बाद थोड़ा बचा हुआ माल रहता है ना, सिंपल हिंदी वर्ड्स में बंगार. Salvage is nothing but हिंदी वर्ड बंगार. उसको बेच के जो पैसा मिला that is salvage. भंगार बेच के जो पैसा मिला उसे कहते हैं salvage. Again, that I don't require at this stage. What is the next thing? Gross profit. Now, gross profit ratio is given 30%. As I told you, gross profit you all have done in FYBAF. Whenever they give you only gross profit percentage and nothing mentioned, it is always on sales. It is always on sales. Now listen. Opening stock आया, purchase आया, sales आया. There is no information for any direct expenses like wages, carriage inward. So now can you tell me which two item remains? एक तो ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट बचता है, एक तो क्लोजिंग स्टॉक. जो तुम लोग ने फाइनल अकाउंट्स किया है, द नॉर्मल फाइनल अकाउंट्स, क्लोजिंग स्टॉक वाज ऑलवेज गिवन. सो व्हाट विल हैपन? क्लोजिंग स्टॉक इफ यू राइट, द डिफरेंस विल बी ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट. बट यहां पे हमें फाइंड आउट करना है क्लोजिंग स्टॉक. वी हैव टू फाइंड आउट द क्लोजिंग स्टॉक. ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट हमें पता नहीं है, बट दे हैव गिवन यू द हिंट. माय ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट का परसेंटेज कितना है? 30%. उसका मतलब ये है, फॉर्मूला क्या याद है एसवाईजीसी का? ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट रेशियो इज इक्वल टू ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट अपॉन नेट सेल्स इनटू 100. इन शॉर्ट, whatever is my sales, उसका 30% will be gross profit. Formula will use it in the next sum. So, जो मेरा gross profit होगा, to gross profit carried down, I'll show it in the brackets for you all. कितना है मेरा sales? My sales or net sales is 5 lakhs and the GP ratio is 30%. So put a bracket, 5 lakh का 30%. So 5 lakh का 30% gives you 1,50,000. Getting it? Whenever gross profit percentage is given, it is always applied. It is always calculated on sales. So my sales is 5 lakh and 5 lakh ka 30%, 1,50,000 will be my gross profit. 1,50,000 will be my gross profit. Okay, baki ka information I will need after few minutes. Now see, why I prepare memorandum trading? To get the closing stock. सब कुछ आ गया except for closing stock. ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट भी आ गया. सो नाउ इसको बंद करो and the difference what I get, that will be my closing stock. Okay, चलो let's close. कितना है तुम्हारा? डेबिट साइड इज ग्रेटर 4, 550 and 10, 560, 5,60,000. Now see, my total of memorandum trading debit is 560, sales 5 lakh, so 560 minus 5 lakh, this 60,000 is my missing figure. You can circle it or write like that. By closing stock account and brackets में लिखना balancing figure. अगर ये नहीं लिखोगे तो भी चलेगा. Even if you don't circle and write balancing figure, that is also fine. Got it? So now I know that my closing stock is 60,000. See, balancing figure means missing figure. Again I'll repeat, memorandum word use क्यों किया? To find out the missing figure. So by closing stock account, balancing figure, that is 60,000. Okay, by closing stock account, balancing figure, that is 60,000. Clear guys? So the purpose of memorandum trading account for this chapter is to find out the missing figure of closing stock which we got. Now guys listen, question में they have given you policy amount salvage. अगर if question में policy amount and salvage was not given, then this itself would have been my policy amount, the amount of claim. अगर policy amount or actual salvage, if the policy amount and salvage was not given, this itself would have been my actual loss. Now the name of the chapter is fire insurance claim. So after you prepare memorandum trading account, you have to prepare a statement of claim. Even if policy amount and salvage was not given, for presentation we would have made. अभी देखो कैसे बनाना है. Understand this. Statement of claim. This will be of around 4 lines and उसके बाद we have to decide whether there is further extra calculation or no. मैं एक काम करता हूँ, इसको रब आउट कर देता हूँ बिकॉज मुझे जगह कम पड़ेगा. Understand this calculation of statement of claim. Particulars and single column of amount. Particulars and single column of amount. Now, how do you start? You start with the missing figure what we got right now. क्या था? Closing stock. So you will write like that. Closing stock as on date of fire, that is 60,000. Closing stock as on date of fire, that is 60,000. From this, if there is any salvage, we will deduct the salvage. What I told you, salvage क्या होता है? जो बचा कुचा भंगार है उसको बेचा तो उसमें हमको पैसा मिला. कितना है salvage? 5,000. So I deduct salvage 5,000. So 60 minus 5, 55,000 is my amount which I will call it as actual loss. So closing stock as on date of fire 60,000. From that deduct salvage, that is 5,000. Therefore my actual loss will be 55,000. So closing stock on date of fire 60 less salvage 5, actual loss 55. Now see, if these were not given, what I was telling you a few minutes back, then in that case actual loss would have been 60,000. Now listen, question में policy amount दिया हुआ है. If the policy amount was not given, question में policy amount दिया हुआ है. If the policy amount was not given, then actual loss itself would have been my amount of claim. अगर policy amount नहीं दिया होता, then actual loss itself would have been my amount of claim. Now, they have given you the policy amount. Policy amount दिया हुआ है. So now you have to do one calculation before you proceed further. Policy amount देखो कितना दिया है question में? 40,000. Compare the policy amount with closing stock. Closing stock ज़्यादा है. Closing stock is more, which means there will be an average clause. Average clause मतलब you will get the claim but पूरा नहीं मिलेगा, proportionate मिलेगा. If my closing stock का amount was less than the policy amount, suppose closing stock का amount was 35,000, policy is 40, then whatever is my actual loss मुझे पूरा का पूरा मिलेगा. But because my policy amount is less than closing stock is more than my policy amount, then average clause will be applicable. Average clause में there's a formula where the amount of claim will be in proportion. क्या है वो formula? Let's see. हाँ, अगर question बोलता है, which is very rare, average clause not applicable, then again the same thing, actual loss itself will be the claim. So now what I'll do, I will apply the formula of average clause. Now what is average clause? Average clause is actual loss into the policy amount, actual loss into the policy amount divided by closing stock as on date of fire. Okay, what I told you, it will be in proportion and proportion will be policy amount to closing stock. अभी देखो, let's substitute. Actual loss कितना है? 55,000. पॉलिसी अमाउंट दिया है क्वेश्चन में 40 and my closing stock is 60,000. Okay, substitute and get the answer. So 55,000 this gives you 36,667. Therefore my amount of claim is 36,667. Therefore my amount of claim is 36,667. Got it? 36,667 is my amount of claim. I'll repeat. Policy amount नहीं दिया रहता, actual loss itself would have been your amount of claim. Policy amount दिया है, compare with closing stock. If my policy amount was more than closing stock, then to ये point नहीं आता था. But because my closing stock is more than the policy amount, I am doing this calculation of average loss. So see, जो भी मेरा actual loss है, I will get that claim, but in proportion to policy amount and closing stock. That is the logic of this formula. So closing stock 60, policy amount 40, 3:2. So this I will get in proportion of this. So in short, you can say into policy amount upon closing stock. So my amount of claim is 36,667. Clear with this, guys? So amount of claim 36,667. Got it? अगर policy amount नहीं दिया होता, this would have been my claim. Policy amount दिया है, I compare with my closing stock. Because closing stock is more, this will be applicable. अगर closing stock 40 के नीचे होता, then whatever is my actual loss, ये calculation नहीं आता. Clear with this? YouTube पे ओपन वीडियो है, रिवाइंड फॉरवर्ड करो, जितनी बार देखना है देखो. Got it, guys? Now I'll take one more sum where all the same calculation will be there, but in addition to this, यहाँ पे ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट रेशियो दिया था, तो we were not required to prepare trading account. नेक्स्ट सम में ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट बनाना है. We have to calculate the gross profit ratio and the rest is same. Now before we proceed, दो लोग को अभी भी कंफ्यूजन है, ये वीडियो को पॉज करो या तो वापस रिवाइंड करके देख लो, so that the second sum becomes easier. Okay, I'll just be back. I'll just make the format and be back. Okay guys, taking the second question, as I mentioned, we are preparing trading account and memorandum both. मैंने तुमको बता दिया था. Again we will see why it is done. Question is there, those are watching on YouTube, it's there in the description box. From the following information given by Mr. Aakash, calculate the amount of insurance claim. Fire took place in his factory on 1st July 24, destroying all stocks. Opening stock 1st Jan 23, 20,000. Purchases for 23, 1 lakh. Sales for 23, 150. Closing stock on 31st December 23. What I told you, ये जो क्लोजिंग स्टॉक दिया है दैट हैज टू बी ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट वाला, बिकॉज मेमोरेंडम का तो ट्रेडिंग क्लोजिंग स्टॉक हमें फाइंड आउट करना है. देन अगेन परचेसेस 1st Jan 24 to 1st July 24, दैट्स द डेट ऑफ फायर. सेल्स सेम डेट, पॉलिसी अमाउंट एंड साल्वेज. नाउ इफ यू सी, दो परचेस दो सेल है, दैट मीन्स वन इज फॉर ट्रेडिंग एंड वन इज फॉर मेमोरेंडम. नाउ प्रीवियस सम में ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट क्यों नहीं बना था? बिकॉज ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट रेशियो दिया हुआ था. हियर वी विल हैव टू फाइंड आउट द ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट रेशियो. हियर वी विल हैव टू फाइंड आउट द ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट रेशियो. ओके, सो फर्स्ट, फायर टेक्स प्लेस इन द ईयर 24. लास्ट ईयर 23 है तो ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट बनेगा लास्ट ईयर का, एंड करंट ईयर जिसमें फायर स्टेकिंग प्लेस आग लग रही है उसका मेमोरेंडम ट्रेडिंग। ओके, चलो लेट्स फिल अप द डेटा फॉर 23 फर्स्ट। ओपनिंग स्टॉक दिया है 20,000, सो टू ओपनिंग स्टॉक अकाउंट 20,000, purchases 1 lakh, sales 1,50,000, एंड यहां पे देयर इज क्लोजिंग स्टॉक, सो बाय क्लोजिंग स्टॉक अकाउंट दैट इज 30,000। कैन यू सी एनीथिंग रिलेटेड टू 23 फर्दर? अगर वेजेस या कैरेज इनवर्ड कुछ होता वी वुड हैव डेबिटेड। ओके, रेस्ट ऑल डेटा इज फॉर द मेमोरेंडम पीरियड। सो चलो इसको बंद करते हैं एंड लेट्स गेट द ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट। 150 एंड 30, 180 बेसिक FYGC का 180 minus 120 gives you 60,000, that is my gross profit। चलो इसमें कैलसी का जरूरत भी नहीं है। सो माय ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट इज 60,000, ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट इज 60,000। क्लियर गाइस? नाउ ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट क्यों बनाया हमने? टू गेट द ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट रेशियो, बिकॉज अगर करंट ईयर जिसमें आग लग रही है हमारे पास डेटा नहीं है ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट का, ऑब्वियस नहीं रहेगा, देन यू हैव टू टेक लास्ट का सॉरी you have to take the last year ka gross profit ratio as the base. Now how do we get gross profit ratio? SYGC में those who have opted for analysis of financial statement वहां पे किया है, if not don't worry, the formula for gross profit ratio is gross profit ratio is equal to gross profit upon net sales into 100. Net sales you all know. Net sales is the sales which you get after deducting returns. Net sales is the sales what you get after deducting returns. So gross profit ratio is equal to gross profit upon net sales into 100. Got it guys? प्रीवियस सम में ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट रेशियो दिया हुआ था, हियर वी आर गोइंग टू फाइंड आउट, दैट इज द रीजन वी आर मेकिंग ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट। ओके, सो लेट्स सी नाउ ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट कितना है 60,000। यू ऑल नो बेसिक ऑफ FYGC, अगर रिटर्न्स नहीं है, इफ देयर आर नो रिटर्न्स देन योर ग्रॉस सेल्स एंड द नेट सेल्स रिमेन्स द सेम। सो 60,000 divided by 150 into 100, simple calculation है, 15 fours are 60, therefore my gross profit ratio is 40%. Therefore my gross profit ratio is 40%. So we prepare trading account with an intention to get gross profit, and my gross profit ratio is gross profit upon net sales into 100. So 60,000 divided by 1,50,000 into 100. So my gross profit ratio becomes 40%. प्रीवियस सम में 30% दिया था, इसके लिए ये नहीं बनाया, अभी ये बनाया, हमें मिल गया 40%. नाउ वंस आई गेट दिस, आगे का सम इज सेम. गॉट इट? Clear with this? Now let's take data for the memorandum period. अभी देखो, सबसे पहले मेमोरेंडम पीरियड का तुमको ओपनिंग स्टॉक नहीं दिया. क्यों नहीं दिया? अंडरस्टैंड द लॉजिक, वेरी सिंपल. FYGC SYGC, लास्ट मंथ का क्लोजिंग बैलेंस ऑफ एनी अकाउंट इज माय करंट मंथ का ओपनिंग बैलेंस. सेम वे लास्ट ईयर का क्लोजिंग स्टॉक has to be my current year का ओपनिंग स्टॉक ना. ओपनिंग कहां से आएगा? लास्ट ईयर में अगर कुछ बचा है तो ही करंट ईयर में ओपनिंग आएगा. So my last year का closing stock becomes my current year का opening stock. So two opening stock account, that is 30,000. Two opening stock account, that is 30,000. Got it? And now purchases is given for the period 24. Remember what I told you, the period of memorandum trading account will be first day of the year से लेके date of fire. So 1st Jan 24 to 31st July. This I have written here for the year 23. You can also write for the year ended 31st December 23. That is fine. Okay. Now see. Now take the memorandum data. Purchase 50,000. So two purchases account 50 and sales दिया है 80. So buy sales account, that is 80,000. Okay, policy amount salvage as I told you will come in statement of claim. Now see, why we prepare memorandum? To get the closing stock. अगर closing stock ढूंढना है gross profit होना चाहिए, gross profit मिल जाएगा. I know my memorandum sales is 80,000. I know my gross profit ratio is 40%. So to gross profit carried down, and this gross profit will be 80,000 का 40%, that is 32,000. 80,000 का 40%, that is 32, and this now you close it. So 30 plus 50, 80, 80 plus 32, 112. 112 में से वापस 80 को माइनस करो, that gives you 32. This is my closing stock, or as I told you, balancing figure. Circle नहीं किया, balancing figure लिखा तो भी चलेगा. Clear guys? So by closing stock account, balancing figure, that is 32,000. So opening stock 30, purchase is 50, gross profit 80,000 का 40%, that is 32,000, and closing stock also fortunately becomes equal to gross profit. So the new point as compared to the previous sum, finding out the gross profit ratio. Now the statement of claim. Just let me check the angle. I'll just change the angle of the camera a bit. ओके चलो मैं स्टेटमेंट ऑफ क्लेम तो इधर ही कर सकता हूं. सो आई विल मेक द स्टेटमेंट ऑफ क्लेम हियर. Particulars and single column of amount. Again I'll repeat, अगर पॉलिसी अमाउंट और एक्चुअल लॉस नहीं दिया होता, दिस इटसेल्फ वुड बी द अमाउंट ऑफ क्लेम, बट हम ये स्टेटमेंट बना देते. चलो नाउ सेम लाइक द प्रीवियस सम, स्टेटमेंट ऑफ क्लेम. क्लोजिंग स्टॉक एज ऑन डेट ऑफ फायर कितना है? 32,000. फ्रॉम दिस I will deduct salvage. कितना है मेरा salvage? क्वेश्चन में देखो 2000. So 32 minus 2, 30,000 will be my actual loss. So 32,000 minus salvage 2,000, my actual loss will be 30,000. So actual loss 30,000. Now guys listen, same logic. पॉलिसी अमाउंट नहीं होता, पॉलिसी अमाउंट नहीं होता, दिस was my amount of claim, बट पॉलिसी अमाउंट है. सो नाउ यू कंपेयर, कितना है पॉलिसी अमाउंट? 25,000. क्लोजिंग स्टॉक इज मोर देन पॉलिसी अमाउंट, सो एवरेज क्लॉज आएगा. If my closing stock was less than 25,000, then again actual loss itself was the claim. Those who are going to study the full chapter with me, आगे जाके वो variation आएगा. Right now I'm just focusing on the basic part. So because closing stock is more than the policy amount, average clause will be applicable. So my average clause का formula, as I told you, actual loss into the policy amount upon the closing stock, or you can say closing stock as on date of fire. खाली closing stock लिखोगे तो भी चलेगा. कितना है मेरा actual loss? 30,000. Now see, those who have not yet followed what I was explaining in the previous sum, 30,000 है. I will claim in the proportion of closing stock and policy amount. Policy amount 25 है and this is 32. So 30,000 का claim, तो actual loss है, I will get in this ratio. I think शायद पॉइंट्स में आएगा. So 30,000 into 25 divided by 32 gives me 23,438. Therefore my amount of claim is 23,438. Therefore my amount of claim is 23,438. जो FYJC SYJC में आता था ना, even in the previous semester, goods destroyed by fire, insurance claim admitted 23,438. This is the way you get that amount of 23,438. हर एक चीज का लॉजिक होता है and this is the logic here. So therefore my amount of claim will be 23,438. Clear guys? So this was the concept of fire insurance claim. I'm not getting more into deeper at this stage. इधर से ज्यादा एक्सप्लेन भी नहीं करूंगा because तुम लोग बोर हो जाओगे. So what I have explained right from the starting of this video, यहाँ तक, please understand carefully. If you get this, समझो ये चैप्टर का बेस तुमको आ गया. आगे जाके सम्स में प्लस माइनस एडजस्टमेंट्स होने वाले ही है, but for that this base has to be clear. Got it guys? So this was the session where we studied the introduction to your chapter fire insurance claim along with two basic sums. That's it guys. Those who are going to study with me, see you all in the next class. And for other students, if you all are interested in studying with me, connect with the number mentioned in the bio. And every chapter may, the first introductory lecture will be open on YouTube. You all can refer. And in case you have any doubts, please connect with me. That's it guys. Take care.